baby girl tonight, baby. Under the moonlight. Ooh, baby.
This is Talitha Kume, and you're tuned in to Intimate Conversation, presented by Food for the Soul. Hot 7025 F. Make radio great again.
So, you guys, we are finishing our theme for the month and actually for the year, and it is nature versus nurture this year. And so we're asking, are things people made, or is everything in our DNA, or is it hereditary? And we are learning that they're truly balanced. I think they're exactly one or the other. I think. What do you think?
I would say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that because and they work together sometimes to where you might have a little bit of nature, a little bit of nurture. It just kind of depends on the situation, right? So
Absolutely.
In some instances, the decisions we make and our outcomes are natural, and sometimes our world that surrounds us shapes and dictates our future. So on today's show, we are asking if you believe in generational curses. Are they real? And Bobby is back. So starting off the new year, we will be intimate. Did you say, hey, boo? It will be intimate conversations with Talitha and Bobby. And I'm going to let Bobby choose some of these topics that we get a chance to discuss. So that way he won't feel like he's all in the dark, because he says that my topics are really general. But I think that any topic that's general, you can still make it. You can make it specific to whatever's going on in your life. And that's the reason why I like to choose general topics, because I can have a plethora of different people speak on it. And that's kind of the reason why I do that, you guys.
Right.
But for now, we're going to talk about generational curses. A generational curse, is believed to be passed down from one generation to another due to rebellion against God. That's how the generational curses started in the Bible, actually. And this says, if your family line is marked by divorce, incest, poverty, anger, or other ungodly patterns, you're likely under a generational curse. The Bible says that these curses are tied to choices. Deuteronomy 30 Verse 19 says we can either choose life and blessing or death and cursing. So that's what that Bible verse says. But in the first article I found, it says our families actually have the greatest influence on our development, including the development of our patterns of sin. Some people even assert that family or generational curses are passed down along generational lines. This belief comes from the Old Testament passages which says that God punishes the children and their children for the sins of the fathers to the third and fourth generation. And that's in Exodus 34:7. So that's kind of where it's saying that they've gotten that same generational curses. Whether or not families inherit spiritual curses, it is obvious that patterns of sin are passed down through families. Everyone sins, but just as culture, ethnicity, and gender steer our patterns of sin in particular directions, so do our families. We inherit many traits and preferences from our parents that aren't always a positive influence on ourselves or even others. When we acquire a sinful habit or belief that negatively affects our lives or those around us, this is known as a generational curse. It is a shadow side of behavior passed down through the generations, but is it possible to break this cycle of suffering, you guys? So is it possible to break a generational curse? Do we believe in generational curses? So what do you think, Bobby? I wanted to talk about maybe your upbringing or my upbringing and see if we had any generational curses worthy stories or whatever. Can you think of any?
Yeah, all day. I think generational curses are like anything else. They can all be broken. Just kind of depends on what kind of tools you're using to bust the concrete with.
Okay.
You know, I believe that one of the biggest generational curses that we've dealt with personally on both our ends is the what'd you say? Oh, not mismanaging finances. I believe that's a thing that's in our community, and that's a curse.
In our community or in our generation? Like talking about our family.
Oh yeah, I would say our specific everybody, us and the generals. So yeah, that's a big one.
What about your specific family?
Mismanaging finances. I just said that shit. Are we
What?
not speaking?
Okay. What about your specific family? Is there anything else in your family other than mismanaging finances that could be a
There's a
generational
lot.
curse? Okay, so
But
I want to talk about. I want to hear about
one
it.
that matters. I mean, we can go deep in that for the 40 minutes we have. I mean, there's a lot, man.
Okay.
I lean on that one because all the other stuff kind of seems, I don't know,
Okay.
like my dad. All right. So
Well, I
you
was about
look
to say,
at-
let's get personal for a
let's-
minute. You
let's-
made a post about your
my
dad.
dad. I don't. I believe that because of his upbringing, the way he raised us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm right a shoe-in to become a Mitchum to my destiny.
Okay.
You know, where I don't have to really. I love my kiddo to death, but you know, I don't have to be around her, and I don't like that idea. I don't like that feeling.
Okay.
I want her, you know what I mean? I want to be around her, but I don't have to be around her because I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like that same kind of trash is what I learned from my dad, and he must have learned from his dad, and they probably went back to, you know, I don't know, 1800s or even further.
You think?
Yeah.
And so knowing that, how that has affected you, because like I was saying with your post, you know, I know how you feel, of course, because I'm your wife. But posting that on Facebook, you know, took a lot of guts to do that. And a lot of people were commenting saying that you were very transparent in that moment, talking about the fact that you wish that you were close to your father.
Right.
So in saying that, and saying that it's possible that it can continue with destiny, how, like, the feelings that you have about not being close to your dad, do you think that she would have those same feelings? You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
because she's a girl, would it be different? Would it be, you know?
I think she definitely would have those feelings, and then she has it, you know, coming from her trash mom.
Uh-huh.
You know, so she got it twice.
Wow.
But hopefully she gets to, you know, bypass all of that, you know, that whole ideology or the whole confusion. And I think she already has. Like, she's real serious about being around her family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I don't
She
necessarily fall in that category that tough for her being serious about being around, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So-
Well, but I think that I really think that, like a lot of people are saying, you've turned into this fine, excuse me, young man, and I believe that you are a great father, even though you don't see her that much. But like, you know, like we were talking about, it's just important to make sure that she hears your voice and all of that. So
we FaceTime every day.
right?
It's
And so
not
that
that.
way it
It's
won't
just-
be that, you know,
Right.
it won't be that situation of, you know, I never felt close to my father because of this, that, or whatever, or because of, you know, whatever happened with you and your upbringing.
Right.
I know for me, I found out as an adult that my family like had a huge womanizing spirit, like on both sides, right? And I
Right.
didn't know this until I was older. But like, what family doesn't have, you know, some sprinkled womanizers? And, you know, back in the day, people had different families and all kind of stuff or whatever, and you'd had two different families. You know what I mean? It was just a lot. I believe that there was some type of something going on with my grandmother and my great aunt, who were sisters, who lost both of their firstborn sons in like really weird accidents. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of, it prompted my aunt, who's my mom's sister, saying that she, after all of that tragedy with her older brother and then her, you know, her oldest first cousin, that she dedicated her son back to God when he was born, so that there wouldn't be any sign of death on his life, you know, or womanizing, because she took that pretty hard when that happened. So I think that could have been something that could have been passed down. But luckily, I guess she felt like, she was like, I'm not going to let that happen to my only son. So let me
Right.
try and do something different that maybe my great aunt and my, you know, my grandmother didn't do. So I don't know about that, but I know that I can see her believing, you know, that could be something or whatever. And so that was the reason why she said, yeah,
Segue.
I'm gonna stop this. Yeah, segue.
Okay, so you said womanizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is it considered? What makes it womanizing? like you say, your family has like a real big issue with kind of like sleeping around.
Right.
But what makes it the problem?
What makes
What makes that the problem?
I don't know. I don't know per se that would be the problem. I'm assuming that it can be a problem from a standpoint of if you're married. So,
But
if
even in that, I think the real issue, the real problem that our families have struggled with is piss poor communication and being afraid to communicate. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that would be that big of a deal in your family had there been more communication.
I disagree, though. I think that it's a fact of, wherever the spirit came from. Because I don't think it's called womanizing. I don't think it's called womanizing really if you're not in a relationship. So if you are single, you do what you want to. It's called being single. But
No,
if
it's
you
not.
are, well, that's
Those
what
are
I
lies.
that's what
That's what I'm saying.
that's what
There's no difference.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a very big difference because if I'm committed to a person, then I shouldn't be sleeping around with other people.
No, I
period.
understand that, but I'm saying
So
it's
that's where the womanizing.
it's the communication. I think. I don't think it's
Communication
like
of what?
the communication of, all right, baby, look, this is my deal. I gotta have like 4 or 5 women. That's what it is. But you're already in it, or 4 or 5 dudes, or whatever. You're already in it. What do you do then? Or 2? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you call that a problem if that's communicated? Some communities it's cool to sleep with 13-year-olds and marry 13-year-old girls.
But
It's
I
not
think
in America.
I think that it's a problem. The communication is fine, but the thing is that apparently you yourself don't know that that's the issue. So when you say, I commit myself to this person, I am married to this woman or married to this man or whatever, unless you're in a polyamorous situation or a polygamous situation, then you're committed to that person. And then when you start to sleep around, apparently you don't know that you need more than one woman or 2 or 3 women, or I don't know that I need more than one man or whatever. So I can't communicate that to you because I don't know. So now I'm in this marriage, sleeping around, womanizing, or whatever it is you want to call it, and I'm hurting the person at home because this person at home is committed to me, but I'm not committed to them.
Right.
So to me, I don't know
like
about.
I say,
Yeah, I don't.
If it was communication there.
Yeah, I don't know about
From the start, I think
communication
I'm
from the
talking
start.
about from the start in our families. If we were taught to communicate, and not, tuck our tail between our legs or run every time something came up that was different and adverse to what we learned in the church. We were taught to communicate.
I don't know why
there wouldn't be too much problems.
He brings up.
I bring that up because there's only 2 places. There's only 2 places that we learn anything as Black people.
Conversation.
It's the first 12 grades of school and in church. That's it.
Yes.
In the streets, like nobody. We don't pick up no books. We don't. None of that. So
a lot of people.
Those are the 2 biggest influences. What I'm saying. So if it wasn't for those type of environments and the inability to speak, I think we would be better. Communicate. We don't. We run away from it. We're taught to do that from the beginning, I believe.
Yeah, and it's possible that we were taught to do that from the beginning, but still, even if the communication was there, then I guess you would give that person a choice.
No,
so
if the communication was there, there wouldn't have been any misunderstanding in the beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
Then
you give that person.
You wouldn't even be with that person to give them a choice. It'd be like,
that's what I just
shake hands, we'll move around.
That's what I just said. You give them a choice. If you communicate with them in the very beginning,
right.
You give them a choice to say, what? If you need 2 or 3 women, I don't want to be 2 or 3 of your women.
Right.
I want to be with one person. So kick rocks.
Right.
And I'm out. So, yeah, communication would work in the very beginning if that happened, and then we wouldn't have all of these problems. I feel like for us, I don't know if I believe in generational curses. I don't know. I think we were having this discussion before, like years ago, when we talked about it, and I just think that it's that we should call it something else because it's kind of it's poor choices to me. I don't know if it's generational. I don't know if it's genetic. I believe that genetic traits are passed down, like diseases. A lot of times, of course, when you're at the doctor, they ask you different things like that. Of course, looks are passed down, and other things. But I don't even some type of characteristics like you notice that Destiny does a lot of things that you do, and it's because it was passed down to her from you.
But check, this is what gets me though, because I don't like about the curse thing. Okay, I'm up in there about it too, but I I've heard Destiny say words and stuff that I've never said. You know, not bad words, but just certain
Slang
and stuff. You know, slogans and stuff of that nature that she wouldn't have heard from nobody else. The stuff that I used to say when I was a kid.
Wow.
That I stopped saying. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And I've heard her say it in the same way, you know, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. So she picked it up from
me, and I haven't said
she inherited it.
I haven't said it in 20 years, you know, so.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know about that. But unless something was cast on you, I believe that curses are from outside of us, if that makes any sense. So I believe that it's possible that someone can possibly put a curse on you. Now, before, had you asked me this probably, 7-8 years ago, I would have told you, no, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Witchcraft, none of that stuff. I didn't really believe in it because I didn't know to the depths of how far it went back. I didn't know any of that information because it's not really taught. It's not taught. But I do believe that there are, a curse can be put on you. But generationally, I'm just not sure about that.
Where are they put on you from?
Yeah, and I don't know that either. So we're going to discuss that when we come back. If you are just tuned in, you're listening to Intimate Conversations with Talitha Kume and Big Bobby B. And we will be right back after we find this song, hopefully. So as soon as he gets this song queued up, we will be taking a break, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. But shout out to this gentleman. I can't pronounce his doggone name at all, y'all. So it is what it is. I don't know.
Who wants some of Debo? Love God, but I ain't Tebow. Cause I been here taking shots for fouls against me like a free throw. Ooh, that's nasty. Free on my dogs like Lassie. If you ever touch fat or baby fat, hell, you might as well buy a casket. Ooh, I'm a savage when it come to the static. It get problematic. If you touch my lineage or cabbage, I can't have it. Most of my partners don't know who they bad is. It get tragic. Where I'm from ain't lavish. They grew up some bastards chasing cash and Gucci. And it usually came from lack of guidance. That's why I ain't moved by all these goofy acting rappers wildin'. It's astounding how much counseling we need for PTSD. I can't fathom the amount of counsel we need in the streets. It's offensive, that's why I'm not apprehensive with the tech. I was really in them trenches, then transcended out the checks. Don't believe me? Go ask Cease, ask Lil Early, ask K-Dub, hell ask Fat. I'm so swat, I scream Southwest when we make love. It's just in me, no pretending. My hand's the only thing that is friendly. I don't need a Beamer, Benz, or a Bentley to have a whole slew of bops compliment me. The gold in my teeth was done complimentary. The flow is unique and low-key relentless. My goal is to speak to folk without bending the truth and to free the globe from pretending. Ooh.
I bet if you won't feel that, then you probably dead. If you get slapped and don't fight back, that mean you probably scared. But it's all gravy, where we from, that mean you just a lame. When they both come, if you don't run, you better tuck your chain. Yeah, I bet if you don't feel that, then you probably dead. If you get slapped and don't fight back, that mean you probably scared. But it's all gravy, where we from, that mean you just a lame. When they both come, if you don't run, you better tuck your chain. It's the young queen mother, baby, what it do? If I bark, then my squad bark like a cue. And we bite, we don't fight unless it get greasy. Bring danger anywhere we be, you'll be endangered species. Ooh, my flow torch like Tiki. Ooh, I resort if need be too. Violence, if my tribe riots, we in your grill like BBQ. Pack hardware like CPU, cause Shaytime be plotting. But I stay on my toes like stockings, and on guard like Stockton.
Ooh, my beats bang like Compton. Ooh, I'm so cold like Austin. Ooh, my flow wild like Rodman. Every bar deserve a coffin. Ooh, cause I'm killing it. The feeling is surreal when you building with the ones who held you down and instilled you with the thoughts that you should dwell where the spirit is. And I'm appreciative. Deceased the weeks, the beats couldn't reach the kids. I used to teach the lead techniques to win, but now I beats on beats and release the pen. Every now and then to display my zen, I tell my kin there's more than one way to win. They show they skin and know it's betrayed the sin, but my float let them know they got y'all within.
I bet if you won't feel that, then you probably dead. If you get slapped and don't fight back, that mean you probably scared.
But it's all gravy, where we from, that mean you just a lame. When they both come, if you don't run, you better tuck your chain.
Yeah, I bet if you don't feel that, then you...
Hey, welcome back to Intimate Conversation with Talitha Kume, presented by Food for the Soul, here on Hot 702.5 FM, and I'm your host, Talitha Kume, here with my baby, Big Bobby B, and we are talking about us being, if we are if we have generational curses or if we believe in generational curses, you guys, and we are live on our Instagram station as well. We just played a song called Debo, and I cannot pronounce that gentleman's name at all, so I'm not even going to try and, it's Toby Nigano.
She just called that dude a nigga, and I don't even appreciate none of that, man.
I didn't.
You're foul.
I
Shut up
really
talking.
okay. You know what? Did you tell me shut up? I didn't mean to call him that. I'm saying I really can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. So, although we may not believe in generational curses, curses are very real, and that may have an effect on our families. Thus, we may think that that it is a generational curse. I'm sorry, you guys. So this article I found says that there are 3 types of curses, and it speaks about the generational curse as one. This one spins it from the Bible differently, though, you guys. So it says there are 3 common curses: generational curse, caste curse, and an earned curse. Right. So it says the first one, generational curses are passed down from generation to generation with the same problems and troubles coming down the bloodline. There are things that get passed on from the bloodline, and that's why doctors would ask a new patient if similar illnesses happened in the family before, because it's the fact it's generational. Right. It's generations that may have some type of sickness that may pass it on to you, but I'm not sure if that's hereditary or not, or genetic. I don't know if it's a curse, so it's kind of hard to say. Like if families before families had cancer, and then they pass it down. It seems like it's a genetic trait versus a curse, but I guess if cancer is just effed up, period. So
it's pretty cursy.
Maybe that is,
maybe
that will be considered a curse. And then the second one is a caste curse. Now, a caste curse can come into your life or someone's life through things you do that causes people to speak curses over your life, or when you speak curses over yourself or others. At times, parents or people in authority pronounce curses over their people by saying very negative words, and those words open doors for demons to chain that person to the reality of those words.
Absolutely.
Also, spells are spoken by witch doctors that can stick to people if they are not covered by the blood of Jesus. And so this person believes that if we are believers and we're covered by the blood of Jesus, then we shouldn't be able to be cursed. And the last one is a earned curse or a received curse, which comes into our life through practicing the occult or through sin. Sadly, any broken curse we bring into our life will turn into a generational curse, which is what this says. Because it opens doors for curses, and open. What does it say? Open doors. That doesn't even make any sense. But so it said it opens the curses are witchcraft. These open doors for curses. I'm sorry. Witchcraft, horoscopes, fortune telling, believing in superstition, covenants with demons, Ouija boards, contacting the dead, tarot cards, astrology, seances, divination, occult meditations, unforgiveness, and pornography. So these are the 3 curses that you can have over your life. And we talked about the generational. But let's talk about the other curses. Bob, what do you think about the other curses? Like we already said that the generational curse could be a curse, of course, if it's something that's negative, that negatively impacts your family through genes, then yeah, genetically it can be considered a curse. Right. But what about the other 2? What do you think about those?
I think they're all prevalent and real if they're real in your life. I like the passed down, right?
Through the bloodline.
You already said that. You said the genetic.
Yeah. So the genetic was a generational curse, but I'm saying like the casting over that was really a big one.
See, that's big to me because that this writer says that they believe that you can't get one cast on you if you're a believer in Jesus, right?
Well, it says that. It says that they also spells spoken by witch doctors or whatever can stick to people if they're not covered by the blood of Jesus. So this is saying that to me is saying that if they are not a believer, then it's possible that they can get a spell cast on them because they're not covered. So that's what this is saying to me. I don't think that you can get one. I'm not sure, you guys. We've done some study on that. Yeah.
But you got to be truly covered first in the first
right.
place. So that's what I'm saying. So if you're coming from bad teaching and misguidance,
Yeah.
Are you covered?
It's possible. It's possible that you're not. Like we don't even know anymore. It's so much stuff that's come out, y'all, in 2020. It's ridiculous about some of the stuff that we've learned.
It's an
that have
eye-opening
been-
year. It's
yeah.
2020, perfect vision. Y'all can
Yes,
see.
that
If
have
you
been.
can't see, you shouldn't be here next year.
You know what I'm saying? That has
pretty
been we
real.
have we have been very misinformed on a whole lot of stuff. So it's been crazy. But what
You look like a misinformed.
What struck me was the casting the curse through negative words, and then having that reality kind of stick to you. So that was really interesting to me, because we've been told that a lot, but we've never been told that it was like a curse. You know, you kind of just say, well, watch what you speak. You can speak something into existence or whatever. I guess that's the same thing, but it's never been told to me, or I never understood it to be, oh, I can cast a curse on myself by speaking negatively about
I'm
me.
saying teaching has always been just one side of the coin. Everybody talks about karma. They want to talk about the bad. They don't say anything about the good.
Right, you posted that too.
So, like you said, you didn't know. You're unaware. Nobody wanted you to know that stuff. They want to make it light, or make it super light. Let's not call it what it is.
Right.
You know.
Right, because even family members and everything, if family members were speaking negatively over, their children or whatever, then that possibly could have been casting a curse on your child early on.
I believe it. I do believe that that your words matter. And they're pretty big. I do believe that. So.
And we're learning that, again, like I said, in 2020, a lot has our eyes, those of us who are really, really waking up to things. I don't want to call it woke, because that's kind of something different. But those of us that are really waking up to things that we used to do, or teachings that we had, or things that we used to say, realizing that they were not all what they were cracked up to be, you guys. I am like undone, and because I really, and this is like way off the subject, about Christmas, but it's hard to say, finding out about Christmas now and knowing that, of course, we didn't know the birth of Jesus when it was, but having us celebrate Christmas for so many years and saying that it was the birth of Jesus, and having the being in church saying that the church this is why Christmas, the birth of Jesus, this is the reason for the season. Jesus is the reason for the season, and we really don't even know if Jesus was born around this time. It really just threw me, because I'm like, okay, so we've been celebrating Christmas all this time, and it's not even nowhere near biblical at
But this is
all.
why I get mad. This
Like,
is what I was
at
saying.
all, though.
Right. Like, I listen to Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh has been saying the same woke things for the past forever since he started.
Yeah.
Peter Tosh is the reason, if people go read, he's the reason why you're even able to smoke weed legally in the streets. Him and his family. They've been killing them off slowly, but this is...
So we can continue to be misinformed.
People are misinformed because nobody wants to pick up. The reason why people know anything today is because somebody who has a voice opened the book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing's changed. All this stuff has been here.
Yeah, it's
But
been
nobody
here.
wanted to read. Like Calvary, churches rather call Golgotha Calvary because it sounds cuter.
Right.
But the real word is Golgotha. Let's go to Golgotha Church. Nobody wants to say that because it sounds grungy and dirty.
Nobody wants to call
According
that
to what
church
we're used to hearing.
Golgotha.
You know what I'm saying? But
Golgotha.
misleading and misinformation has been what's killed us.
Yes, man, it has been.
That's the real curse.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say about we are here. We are here. The real curse is us not picking up a damn book.
It's because let's move them away from reading the books. Turn on the TV, make it brighter.
Yeah.
And all these other cute things, so that way you're
You're
distracted
low,
like a damn child.
You're lulled to sleep.
Waving a sucker in your face.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Here's my big white
absolutely.
van. Let me put you in the back of it. Type stuff. You're a child and you're falling for it.
And so if any curse we have, it has been that. And that's not just generational. It's like, well, I guess it is generational. It's like forever and ever and ever that we have been, we have been lulled to sleep, and now people are waking up. But
like babies.
Back to the generational curses. I found another article that says, don't confuse generational curses with poor generational choices, which is what I was trying to say. It says the real curse is believing that we are powerless to break these familial patterns. Right. Modern adaptations of this idea speak to the cyclical nature of unhealthy family pathologies, citing things like poor health, illiteracy, sexual violence, and poverty as examples of these transmissible misfortunes. This is a lot of big words, y'all, so bear with me, Jesus. But how much of our personal dysfunction is compounded by our decisions as opposed to shaped by our ancestry? So when does our participation in unhealthy familial patterns stop being the result of our generational curses and start being the consequence of our own generational choices? And the article went on to say the curses referred to in the Bible don't appear to be curses at all. They're more like consequences, specifically for disobedience towards God. In Christian doctrine, the punishments for sin range from birthmarks to barrenness and everything in between, making it clear that God does not play when it comes to paying what you owe. It also said that there is a level, though, of victimhood implied by the very idea of generational curses that renders us helpless to control our circumstances, a notion that isn't supported in the Bible or in any other religious text for that matter. Can a combination of genetic, environmental, which we talked about last week, and developmental factors make a person more susceptible to something like alcoholism, drug abuse, or poor health? Absolutely. Yes. If we grew up, or if you grow up watching alcohol control the lives of our close relatives, and then you choose to partake without any consideration for how that history of addiction might repeat itself in us, we put ourselves at risk, and we can't call that a curse if it's the consequence of a conscious choice. So I really like that. I really, really like that.
Do you think the stuff that we make in the stuff we do now, right? Mm-hmm. The patterns we form are the patterns that live. You know what I mean? Like this. I know this sounds strange. We ain't got no time for this, but like looking at my buddy, who tricks like his late daddy.
Okay.
His late daddy was major trick. You know what I'm saying? Major. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I even went and picked up his credit cards from broads. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. But Buddy never hung out with his pop until, like, 2 months before he died. Mm-hmm. He got close with him then. But he's been on trick pattern for his entire duration.
Wow.
And never was close to dad. You know what I'm saying? So was it something that his dad did early on in his early days that lived on through his seed that caused my buddy to be on the same trickazoid life without even being nurtured into doing it?
So that's that nature then. That's that. But how, well, I guess that would be.
And would that be a man-made curse if that's what we're talking about, curses?
That
Did
would
you make
be,
that for yourself?
I'm wondering if that would be a characteristic trait, though. I wonder if that would be a characteristic trait, or because if he never grew up with him and he never had him around, then characteristically, his father was even though you call him a trick, I think it's more of a giver and wanting to be accepted. So because to me that's what a trick is. A trick is basically, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that, especially a man or a woman, because I want acceptance. So I'm giving you this to get something back from you. Right. And so if he didn't feel good about himself for whatever reason or something like that or whatever, then of course I think that he could pass that down to his child, to where his child feels the same exact way, does the same exact thing.
And has no reason to feel that way is the thing. Like his dad had no reason. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't.
And it passed to him, and now I can see why he would do this because of his situation. But
right. And we don't, and we just don't know whether it was no reason or not. Something is embedded deep inside of us, because it can be the finest man, the finest woman, but if they don't feel that way about themselves, or some type of characteristic is stopping them from believing that they're great, or something happened in their life that made them feel like they're worthless, then they're going to do whatever it takes to feel something. And so, you can have pretty women, pretty men out here tricking, and you're like, why is you doing this or doing that or acting this way or whatever? Because they want that attention, or they want that that love or that care that they don't feel like maybe that they're worthy of just by being themselves. So that's what I think. So that's a really good question though, because I don't know. I really don't know. The passing down of the curse, though, then that would mean that we do believe in generational curses. Then that would mean we do believe.
No,
in,
I'm asking
or,
if it's
or,
possible. Is that how it comes down?
or
Does
a
it come
pattern.
through your seed like that? You know what I'm saying?
I think it possibly. I think it absolutely can.
Complete ideas.
It absolutely
straight through
can.
It don't even matter. You ain't never had to have no conversation with them. You're just exactly that person. You don't even.
Absolutely can. I know for me, it comes out in character traits though. Like I am a lot of my father. I'm a lot of my father, but I'm a lot of my mom as well. I'm a lot of my father, a lot of my mom, and a mixture of my aunt. So it's like 3 of those people tied into who Talitha is. Hey, Jeff. And then there is my brother who is really, really tied into my dad. He has a lot of character traits from my dad, including that, that other one we talked about earlier. And so that character trait is negative. So being that character trait is negative, then it could have been passed down, which would make it a generational curse.
But it's that life is negative for Hugh Hefner.
Well, that's why I
For
said
Rick
that.
Ross.
That's why I said
I don't understand. It's not. It's just you communicate that stuff in the beginning. You ain't got no problem. It's not.
Well, it's negative because it's not
That particular life,
communicated.
it's not our life. I'm just saying for people that live. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not
They shouldn't-
communicated, so it's not. So it's negative.
And that's the
it has
curse.
a negative effect.
That's the curse.
On people. It has a negative effect on families. So
Right.
if I come into this relationship or this marriage saying that I'm going to be committed to you, and then I go out and I'm with everyone else, and I have this family at home, then that makes my spouse, my significant other, feel less than. They
Right,
feel like they are
absolutely.
not enough for me. They don't satisfy me because I'm out here doing, Lord knows what. So then I have my kids at home who end up suffering because I'm out trying to do different stuff with different people, and I'm not at home spending time with my family, spending time with my spouse because I'm out here trying to chase that high or whatever it is that Talitha needs to survive. I never
Right.
communicated that to my spouse. So now my spouse finds out, hey, Talitha's out here just doing the most. And now my spouse is saying, okay, I'm so sorry I'm not enough. My spouse is hurt because they thought that they were the only one because we said till death do us part and put on rings in front of family and friends. And then the family unit breaks up. So that is negative. That's negative. Everything
Right.
that I did selfishly had a negative effect on my whole entire family.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Period.
Because of the lack of communication, which was taught generationally by our parents and our parents' parents to not talk, go hide. Oh, you see somebody across the street, you're black, make sure you duck your head and you keep walking. All these things that we're taught, that don't seem like the same kind of.
I can't say that.
Lack of communication might be the reason why all of this stuff happens.
I'm saying I can't say that because at the end of the day, if we're just talking about that one specific topic, which is womanizing, then that's a whole nother animal that we would have to discuss and have a whole entire show for that because everybody does not have to have more than one person.
Right, but we're talking about money in the beginning, and you switch it to this. Like,
well,
we need to
no.
talk about something else. It needs to be
No,
more,
I didn't-
more
no,
about
I didn't-
deeper
I
than
didn't-
that.
I didn't say
All right.
that. I was talking about
Oh.
I was talking about you because we talk about financial stuff all the time. So I'm saying we already had a show about family matters, Black family matter money or whatever in the
we
very
talked about
beginning.
this before, too.
So we haven't talked about the fact that generationally we have not talked about that on my show. Generationally, that these things happen, and
Right.
so that's why I didn't want to talk about money because we've already dealt with that. So we're talking about our families, which is something that we don't talk about. So we're being transparent. We're having transparent moments on our show. So that's why I deviated from that. So we will need a whole show to talk about womanizing or what we feel is womanizing, whether we feel it's negative or positive. But at the end of the day, communication is always best. That's why it's told to us, which makes sense to me, whether whoever taught us that we should have marital counseling before we get married. And I'm talking about serious marital counseling where everything comes up, everything comes into play. And I am a big believer, which everybody will probably say that I'm very weird, but I'm a big believer in let's have marital counseling or relational counseling right when we meet.
Right.
Right when we meet. So if I am now looking to get married. So I say, hey, you know what? I've been single for however long. Now I'm really looking for a mate. Everybody that I meet or somebody that I feel like I'm connected to, like right away, I'm going to go into counseling mode. I feel like the counseling should start there because it's really crazy that we get counseling after we've been together for a year or 2 years or whatever. We get counseling right before the marriage, and then we find out all these negative things or positive or whatever we find out about our potential mate, and then it's too late. I'm already in love with this person. So no matter what you tell me, oh yeah, I was a serial killer. Oh, but I just love him. So can we work it out? You know, and so all these things you're finding out. Now you don't want to let them go. You don't want to not go through with the marriage. So why do marriage counseling up to the marriage? Why not do it early on? And that way you save time and you save your feelings from getting hurt, man. If you already know ahead of time that this person is not going to be a good fit for you because they don't clean up after themselves, they're not tidy enough for you, man, move around. And it's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's not a bad thing if that is your being. I mean, if that is your pet peeve and that's a deal breaker for you, move around, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So communication is the key. Absolutely, 100% is the key because you give somebody an option to say, you know what, I can deal with that, but I can't deal with that. I can deal with that. Let's work on that. And then you go from there.
Right.
And so, I don't believe we were taught that at all. The system is set up very, very strange. So what are your final thoughts, Bob? We're at, I think, 146. So what's your final thought? What's your takeaway from the generational curses? Yes or no? Because we're going back and forth. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to say because of the rampant amount of nonsense you have to deal with as people, yeah, I'm going to say yes. I don't understand how else it wouldn't be a complete curse.
A complete curse. Okay.
Like just I don't know what you call that. I don't know about generational curse, but it's something. It's something that's not right. You know?
Okay, and I guess I have to recant what I said then, because I was saying generational, like the article said, generational choices or familiar patterns.
Right.
But if they are negative, they absolutely can be considered a curse, period. And biblically, me and Bobby have been talking a lot about names and different things like that. Names are so important, and I'm learning that as well. I did not even learn that, you all, until just recently. I knew because I knew what my name means.
Yeah.
And I knew that, early on I knew that I was destined for greatness. I knew that. But when I played it back and was like, what do you want to do? Talitha, what do you want to do with your life? And then I heard my name said to myself, I said, you know what? Everything that I have done from being a little girl all the way to now has always been about helping people wake up.
Right.
Especially women. So my parents chose to name me Talitha Kum, but we pronounce it Talitha Kume. And it is little girl wake up from the Bible. And I have been living up to my namesake all of these years. So names are very, very important. And so some of the names that I hear and names that we're naming our kids are just kind of utterly ridiculous.
Right.
Because they paint a pattern of possibly, what their life is going to be.
Right. It's hard facts.
It really, really does. It really, really does.
Names matter, man.
Yeah. I hate to say that. So final words, breaking a generational curse or familiar pattern. While your family history has an effect on you, you are not bound by these generational curses. You have the choice to continue in the footsteps of your ancestors and pass on these curses to your children, or with great diligence, you can end those curses over your life and future. You get to decide if the generational curse continues or ends. There is great freedom in breaking a generational curse and creating a healthier relationship for yourself, the people you love, and the generations to follow.
Yep.
Start with a genogram exercise. So you guys look that up. It helps you in recognizing a generational curse, and is the first step in the fight to end it. If there is a curse, it's the one we cast every time we deny our ability to change the trajectory of our lives. Bobby loves that word.
No, I don't. I do not love that
I know
word.
he doesn't. So when people feel powerless to solve their problems, we're more likely to embrace what we believe to be inevitable, the inability to envision a better future for oneself, or the belief that the future is at the mercy of some grandfather guilt leads to feelings of hopelessness, stagnancy, and depression, all of which decrease the likelihood that you do anything to change your circumstances, you guys. So my final thoughts, according to Nature versus Nurture, familiar patterns can also be perceived as nurture, where it's like a subconscious kind of monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
To me. And we will have a tendency to act out or live what we've seen, period, from however we were raised or whomever we were raised by. But acknowledgement and admittance is the first step to figuring out a different direction. So let's try it, you guys. We thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to catch us live every Friday, 1 o'clock in the p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on Hot 702.5 FM radio. Catch us live on MIXLR, downloaded from Google Play or Apple Store. Watch us live on FB on Hot 702.5 or Food for the Soul Media Group, and catch our Rewind show on Anchor or Spotify at Food for the Soul Media Group, and make sure you subscribe to all of our media outlets. And be sure to tune in next week for our Movie Monday of the month at 6 o'clock p.m. when Big Bobby B and I will be discussing the movie Birthmarked. So that's about, it's a movie about nature or nurture, about these, I want to say it was about this family who, the kids got switched or something like that, and they were trying to figure out some type of experiment of how they were raised. So I think it's going to be an interesting.
Oh, that was a really big experiment back in the 80s and 90s.
I think it's going to be an interesting watch. And also catch our pre-recorded Christmas special here, Christmas Day, and on our Food for the Soul page. Our show has been sponsored in part by Mook the Barber and Chris Products, Isla Cole the Stylist, and Orlay Worldwide. If you would like to be a sponsor, hit us up at www.foodforthesoulmediagroup.press or email us at foodforthesoulpresents@gmail.com. So it is your girl Talitha Kume and Big Bobby B.
And Big Bobby B. I didn't know I was supposed to do all
Yeah,
that.
because you have to read that down there.
I read that.
No, you didn't. Giving you something to talk about. And you guys, we will see you guys later.
I'm not the leader, but follow the lead. Poppin', that's out of your league. Shorty identical, Bella ID. She begging me, telling me please. The paddock keep telling her freeze. She thinking telling her to chill, and I'm trying to tell her to leave. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Been in the corner, been in the corner.